Hey everybody, Phil here, Peach Performance Shops. I named my garage after my father. My nephew was nice enough to make me some t-shirts, Peach Performance. This is going to do a few videos from here on out, and I'm putting a 6.4 Hemi in a 72 Plymouth Cuda. Car was an original 340 3-speed car, so everything was already in place that way, your Z-bars, everything else. But I'll show you what I'm up against, and hopefully it helps anybody else that's doing some of these Gen 3 Hemi swaps. First thing I ran into was I used the stock bell housing. So the stock bell housing for the 833, there was a flange here. Okay? This flange, I had to cut it off. There was no way you were getting that header up on there unless you cut that flange off. So, cut it off, cleaned it up, was able to get it up. Next thing, there was a machine. Okay, the machining bracket here that they clamp the motor in when they do the machining. I'll show you what it looks like here. It's untouched, they're square. Well, the edge of the header was hitting on there. Now, right now, I don't have any gaskets in it. It may have given me a little bit, but still, I decided to clean it up. I like a gap. So basically, everything was out. The headers were out, stuff like that. I ground that down and cleaned it up, so it gives me plenty of room. They tell you that your Holley mounts, I'm using a Holley mounts and the Holley hooker headers to start with. They say it'll fit on a power steering. What I did to give myself a little bit more room in this power steering was, as you can see, I jacked the motor up a little bit. I pulled it up there, had these loose to, on the Holley's mounts, have slots on the passenger side. I was able to help lift the motor up, tighten that down. Plus I put a little over 1/4-inch thick washer in there to kind of hold it up. I'm going to make, I'll cut out a nice square washer out of sheet steel that I have and slide that into place so it fits really nice and stays. Basically, that helped give me a gap. Passenger side, everything seems to be pretty good. Really some room over here yet on the bell housing, no issues there. Passenger side, so I'm kind of happy with. I like the headers, the way they were welded. They look pretty nice. I do have a set of TTIs coming in. I want to see what they look like because they're ceramic coated. So, back to these hookers. Now, the motor may not be setting exactly level, okay, how it would be setting in the car. So I'll have to find that out once I put it up in the car to see. But I can tell you right now, it's awful close for the steering coupler, okay? So to get that steering coupler on there, you're going to be, they don't give you a whole heck of a lot of room. So basically, I may have to do something a little bit different here with that. Doesn't give me, like I said, a whole lot of room. Now, only it may change is I change the angle of the motor when it's in the car, then that'll give me the idea of where that's going to be at. If not, I may turn that coupler down, clean it up a little bit, maybe put a little round piece of tube here and give it a whack to give me a little indent there. Or maybe somebody makes a different coupler that will go on to the end of a steering shaft, stock steering column. I'll have to take a look at that. Well, the other thing we discussed is Holley mounts moves the engine forward. So a couple things I'm going to end up dealing with is how I'm going to fix that with my cross member brace. And hopefully it don't mess me up too much on the hole in the floor of the 4-speed because we wanted to keep the original console. So there's a little bit of play in there. Well, the other thing we talk about is everybody runs different heater tube methods. Some guys like to cut them off. I'm not a fan of that. Not say I'm a real fan of these sticking up and the hoses going across, and I like to keep a nice clean look. Some guys cut these off, turn them, re-weld them. Some guys cut them off. The thing I don't like about underneath here, if you got to retighten your hose clamps, you got to pull the intake off to get to it. So I'm trying to figure out the best way it is. I'm sure this motor's going to go up and down inside this jig my buddy made for me to use. Kind of a neat little setup. And I'll roll it underneath them when I get it a little bit better shape. Everything else seems to be looking pretty good. I'll keep you guys updated.